In today's video, we're going to speculate about what we can expect to see from AMG's Ministravaganza 2025. So what is Ministravaganza? So AMG does two big reveal events a year. Okay, so if you're more familiar with the Games Workshop stuff, you know they do nearly like almost, it feels like 10 reveals at all the major conventions. AMG only does two. Okay, one is Adepticon. Okay, and then the second is an online-only event that they do called Ministravaganza. Now, Ministravaganza is a movable feast. It's previously been in July and it's been in September. And in previous years as well, it's been a 3-day streamed event with seminars and hobby sessions and Q&A with the chat and different things. And another reminder is that AMG do make other games. I only really follow Shatterpoint, but they also make Marvel Crisis Protocol and Legion. Now, I'm not going to be speculating about things for those two games because I don't really follow them. I don't know enough about them. I'm not enmeshed enough in their custom and practice to make reasonable predictions. So what do we actually know? Not much. All the information we have so far is this one tweet. They tweeted out this image, Ministravaganza, November the 15th, 2025. Okay. Now, so what's interesting is this one seems to be a one-day event. And not a 3-day event. And they've said, mark your calendars, Ministravaganza returns November 15. Big reveals, new game content, and exciting roadmaps will reveal what's next for your favorite games. So, for me, the fact they've said your favorite games, I think they're going to cover all three of the games that they are mainly supporting. So that is Shatterpoint as well as Legion and MCP. It would be really weird if they didn't. Having said, we'll reveal what's next for your favorite games. Be weird if they omitted one of the big games that they do. And then they've said there's going to be big reveals, exciting roadmaps, and new game content. So I think that it seems likely to me that the bit we're going to get are the roadmap presentations for the three games, and the bit they've cut to go down from 3 days to 1 is the other stuff, the hobby streams and the sort of more seminar-y discussion things and the more reflective on what's gone before type things, which is a shame. But I think, you know, it is the reveals and stuff that people are going to be most interested in. So they're cutting away the other stuff and they're focusing on just the bit that's going to get everybody the most excited. That's what I would infer from that. Now they've talked about new game content. AMG do like to release free content for their games for sort of more narrative scenario-based play. So I think they probably have some of that stuff timed to go up at the same time as the reveal. I forget they got two different modes that they talk about in for Shatterpoint. One is where there's a particular character gets powered up, so like you'll have a Sarge Ventress, and she'll be as powerful as she's depicted in like the Clone Wars animation. And then you'll be fighting off against some. The other player will have like more of an army, so they have that kind of asymmetric mode, and they also have like just more narrative scenarios to do as well. I haven't really looked at that stuff because I've only really played the main game of Shatterpoint, but that's what I would expect to see in terms of new game content for sure. So this is the roadmap that we had last time at Adepticon, and I've highlighted some parts in red. So this is what they told us, but then obviously certain things have moved around a little bit because Delta Squad and Terra from Below, I own both of those things, and we're not yet into Q4, so they moved a little bit earlier. Meanwhile, for Q3, we're supposed to be getting the Outer Rim, Market Terrain, the Droid Trader, and the Dwelling. Those three things haven't yet materialized at all, but the Outpost is out along with the Rogue One Squad pen. Okay, and then we're expecting Secure the Future of My Loyalty, My Life in Q2 2026. So these 5 things here are the things that they've previously announced that are not yet out. Okay, so we're going to talk about those 5 things first. We start with the terrain. So this is an interesting one. The Outpost is out. You can buy this today. I didn't like the Outpost when we first saw it. I should say it's not on the 3D render box here. It also comes with some crates under a tarpaulin and a little dragon fellow. I didn't realize at first that the Outer Rim outpost was so clearly it's from Andor season 1, from the first arc of Andor season 1, the Aldani heist. It's a piece of the sort of the scenery from there, which makes it much cooler in my view. But it's not really a great piece of Shatterpoint terrain. Insofar as if you see, it has like this chamfered edge here. Now, so rule was written in Shatterpoint, you can't overhang unless you're going to house rule and say that you try and make sure that I make sense here. You could house rule it, right? And then you could say that the line that comes up here is the edge of the terrain, and so that you could put a miniature on it, and the base could overhang as far as that lip, right? And if you do that, then it becomes sort of usable, okay? But I think if you play strictly rules as written, so that this isn't allowed and all the bases have to be fully inside this inner ring, there's very little space to really stand on top of it, and it's just a large line of sight blocker and nothing else, which doesn't seem wonderful for Shatterpoint. There's also no way to link the official walkways, catwalks from the terrain set that we've had before. The sort of stuff in the core box and the add-ons we've had so far to this, they don't mesh. Now, obviously, people will design and you can make 3D printed parts to help this mesh in as part of your terrain set now. So it's, I like it in principle because I'm a big fan of Andor, and it's a cool thing, but I don't actually think it's a very practical or useful thing, and the official terrain is quite expensive. All this said, I'm curious to see pictures of the market, the droid trader, and the dwelling, just to see what they look like. Maybe they are more interesting. I don't know. But I would expect them. I would expect part of the reveals and things and Ministrav to be. They haven't showed pictures of these three. Now, if they didn't show us them until Ministrav, that would make them late. They are supposed to be out in Q3. Which should be July, August, September, and obviously this is in November, so maybe AMG are going to get these out beforehand, and then we won't hear from the Ministrav. But as the moment, as it stands today, in August, we haven't even seen pictures of these, so that's one thing we could reasonably expect. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Secure the Future. So the Baden Skull Squad Pack. Now, this was originally slated for Q2 2026. And then what interestingly happened, Gen Con was a few weeks ago. There was no new seminars or anything at Gen Con, but what people did see is that they had the miniatures for this set. These were the only unreleased miniatures that appeared in the studio cabinets. So as a result of that, I'm hopeful that these guys might sneak out a little bit earlier. We've talked about the release schedule being kind of messed up, because if you go back to here, we haven't got those terrain packs, but we have got Delta Squad and Terror from Below, and they're not supposed to be out until Q4. So I think maybe this could be brought forward a little bit to Q1. I certainly think the fact that we've seen these minis in the cabinet, and we didn't see the minis for the next set we're going to talk about, My Loyalty, My Life. I don't think they're going to come out at the same time. I think these ones are going to come out sooner, and then the Morgan Elsbeth box will come out later. Because I think these are the next new miniatures to be released, notwithstanding the Ahsoka 3, Vader 3 pack without the terrain. Because I think these are the next miniatures to be released. I think we might see a partial rules spoiler. I don't think we're going to see the full rules, because they're going to save that for nearer the time. but they might do the thing where they show us a card or even just one side of a card. So we start to gain some understanding of the kind of rules these guys are going to have. Particularly interested to see how the tags are going to work. Are these going to have Empire? They're not really part of the Galactic Empire in any meaningful way, although we start talking about the Galactic Empire versus the Imperial Remnant. So far, in order to make it easier for Empire players to make teams that work, AMG's not chosen to have a Remnant tag. So I don't expect that to appear. I think they might have Empire, or maybe something like Boba Fett or Callus, where you can choose whether you can be a mercenary or you can have the Empire tag. I would kind of expect to have the mercenary tag. Mercenary tag's interesting because the only thing that really has synergy with specifically mercenaries is like Shack T. Although actually it doesn't make sense in the lore, but mechanically, if these do all have mercenary, I could see running this squad and then a squad on the other half of the list with Shack T, and it could be really cool. Lots of lightsabers and a bit of synergy. Are they going to have Scoundrel? If they have Scoundrel, that opens a lot of doors, especially if that is, a better 3-cost Scoundrel support. I think they might end up being a 3-cost support because they kind of are doing the Magna Guard thing of not having a gun, which might let them be quite good, but come in at 3 points. I might expect that. We shall see. We shall see. Wouldn't surprise me if Balin only brought 7 squad points because he's awesome. And then my loyalty, my life. We've seen this picture of these. I think they'll once again put this up on the screen and they'll talk a bit more about them verbally. I'm less sure they're going to show off any rules or really tell us anything about these that we don't already know. AMG does have a habit of repeating itself and being quite closed-fisted with information. I mean, remember at Adepticon, we already knew that Rift, Tamsin, and Delta Squad were coming because they told us about the previous Ministravaganza. And at Adepticon, they just said, yeah, Rift, Tamsin, and Delta Squad are still coming. They didn't really give us anything else about them. So, yeah, I think they're going to put these up on a slide and say, look, these are still coming. I think they're still going to come in Q2, and I don't think we're going to get any rules spoilers for them. I'd love to be wrong, but that's what I think. And then what other stuff are they going to do? I think they will do an official announcement slide for League Kit 2. For those of you that don't know, League Kit 2 is already... I have it. I have a foil Bosk and a foil K2SO and a foil Boss and a foil Riff, right? Because these got shipped to Athena Games in Norwich. But they haven't officially announced it anywhere, okay? They did say when they announced the previous League kit at the last at Adepticon that there was going to be 3 League kits per year. So I think they will announce this second one. They said they were going to do 2 tournament kits per year as well. I've not actually seen they announced the Store Tournament Kit 2025. I've not seen any of them in the wild, so there's not that much 2025 left when we get to November, right? I don't know if there will be a second tournament kit. I don't know if I'm ever going to get my chance to get my hands on the tournament kit. I know that the last one that I went to, they tried to get the tournament kit, and they were sent the League kit too. So I don't really know what's going along on there with the various bits of official tournament prize support stuff. What else might we see? I think we might see a new mission pack, I think they might announce that they're going to do a new mission pack. I think that seems logical to me. And then, because of course, as far as we understand, the reason we're experiencing a slowdown with Shatterpoint in terms of the release schedule is because of the bottleneck is the plastics production. So a non-plastic product like a new mission pack makes sense for them to get in there as well, to keep us excited and talking about stuff and keep the game from getting stale, keep things moving. That would be great. And then if they are going to show off like the next box, I'm just going to do my best set for speculation. I think the most likely thing is that they do a good guy box for season 1 of Ahsoka. That's because they've announced 2 bad guy boxes essentially. Now, if you look at what they did for Rogue One, they did 2 good guy boxes and a bad guy box. So it makes sense that they plan to do 3 boxes. It makes sense that they would do a good guy box. My best guess would be Adult Ezra, Adult Sabine, and then 2 of these turtle fellas that fight for Ezra at one point. I'm not really sold on desiring turtle fella miniatures or what the turtle fellas' names are, but I am struggling for like light side or good guy coded supports from Ahsoka season 1. Now you might say, well, surely it's Ahsoka. They're gonna do Ahsoka 4. I don't think they need to do Ahsoka 4 because I don't think her fighting style has changed that much since the Ahsoka that we see represented in Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum. That said, they do like making Ahsokas and Vaders, and you could see the same thing that Vader 3 doesn't really feel like he's a Vader from a desperately different place of mind than Vader 2. So they could do Ahsoka 4. Because Ahsoka's stopped being Fulcrum. This would be post. This would sort of be post Return of the Jedi. A New Republic era Ahsoka with a new name. It would make sense for lore-wise. I'm not sure what would change, but I could see them doing another Ahsoka as well. Now, whether that box you could have, you could have that being the primary, Adult Sabine as the secondary, or you could have Huyang, the robot, as the secondary, or you could have Huyang as a single body support as well. Adult Ahsoka 4, Adult Sabine, secondary, Huyang as a single body support. That's possible. It seems a shame not to get Adult Ezra. Could be. I mean, Krennic's box was a box with an extra thing in it. They could give us a box. I don't know if we've had a box with the Ewok box with 3PO had 2 secondaries in. I suppose they could do a box that was Adult Ahsoka with a choice of Adult Sabine or Adult Ezra secondary, and then Huyang. Huyang's the robot voiced by David Tennant, right? As a single body support. I really don't like single bodied supports. Would I rather have Huyang as a single body support or some random turtle guys? I don't know. What I'd like is the show just doesn't have soldiers or anything like that for the good guy team. So yeah, something in that area. Whilst recording, I've talked myself into the idea that it's more likely to be Ahsoka 4 with Huyang as a one-body support, and then either Adult Sabine or both Adult Sabine and Adult Ezra but then Ezra and Ahsoka never share any screen time, so I just think it will be fun to have him. Yeah. And that's basically the video, I think. So I think I've made very sedate speculation. I think it's fair to say we are in a period of recalibration and slowdown for Shatterpoint releases as far as AMG are concerned. They've come straight out and said they were not going to keep up the pace that they had in their launch year because they want to focus on Legion. There's loads of stuff coming out for Legion. It's going absolutely gangbusters. Do you think I missed the mark? To get our predictions make no sense? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll try and crowdsource some better wisdom. Okay. So do leave comments. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to. We're going to have more Shatterpoint content as time goes on. And consider, if you haven't joined the Discord already, join the Discord as well. That'd be really nice, really helpful. And I want to say a big thank you to all my members, but especially to Alex, who subscribed at the highest tier and contributes a very generous amount every single month. All right, guys, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time with another video. Cheery, 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 cheery. Bye, 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 bye.